So hello friends, today we will be discussing our continuing the discussion on Mycobacterium leprae. Yesterday we have talked about the indeterminate Hansen's disease, where we said that patients may heal, self-heal sometime, and the manifestations, the clinical features would be usually on the zygomatic area, that is cheeks, and they are solitary, solitary hypopigmented macules which are not well defined, and usually presentation is on the cheeks but can also present in on the arms, on the thighs, on the buttocks. And we said that the normal sensations are preserved in these patients, isn't it? Excuse me. So the nerves, they won't be enlarged, the nerves will not be enlarged, and what will you appreciate on the histology will be a perineural. See, we have written here perineural, tongue twister, perineural lymphocytic infiltrate. Okay, so that means there won't be any sort of a granuloma, because we are not sure. I told you how to remember indeterminate, that I don't know, I haven't yet determined what will happen. I don't know, I'm not actually sure what's going to happen. So no granuloma formation, only some accumulations of lymphocytes. Are we able to understand? So see, I have integrated this. Maybe the viewers may be getting confused why I'm taking it. So because mostly the exams are coming in the integrated approach way. So I have tried to explain it here only. Okay. So I told you that TT type of, let me now give you a simple, some descriptions about these. Okay. And as per the level of microbiology, not taking you so much in the medicine, but making you understand. If I write about the TT, if I write about the TT, tuberculoid leprosy. In the tuberculoid leprosy, I told you there is formation of a tuberculoid granuloma. Tuberculoid granuloma. There is formation of tuberculoid granuloma. So which place will you appreciate this granuloma? Which place? You will be appreciating it on the dermis. You will be appreciating it on the, because it's a Th1 mediated, isn't it? It's a T helper cell 1 mediated disease, isn't it? So it will be present as an beautiful and competent cell mediated response. There will be a competent cell mediated response, a very beautiful cell mediated response. Now you told me, sir, there was perineural accumulations. So that means if I have a nerve, if this is a nerve, let us take a diagram. If this is a nerve, it's not antibody, please. Okay, it's a nerve. Okay, let me draw it like this so that you don't get a impression of antibody. So this is a nerve, for example, it's a ganglia, and see, if I have lymphocytic infiltrates around this, if I have lymphocytic infiltrates around this, what will happen is they are going to compress the nerves. They are going to compress the nerves. So will I have a compressive nerve symptom or a something else? I will have a compressive nerve symptoms. The patient will have compressive nerve symptoms. Patient will have compressive nerve symptoms or compression symptoms. Now, one granuloma is compressing one nerve. Usually we see, if I go into more into the medicine part of the skin, it is said that only one nerve is getting compressed by the granuloma. Okay. That means if single nerve is involved, that means single nerve will be thickened. That means single lesion will happen. That's why I remember it as, and we all doctors remember it as, one skin lesion, one thickened nerve. One skin lesion, one thickened nerve. I'll be able to understand. But it's not a strict, I can't make it a strict rule that it's always one skin lesion and one thickened nerve. You may see up to 3 lesions also. Okay. Now you have compressed this nerve. You have compressed this nerve. What will happen? You will have what problems will you have? Number one will be sensory deficits. You will have sensory deficits, means sensory loss will be there. Sensory loss will be there. will you have, see, your sympathetic activity is happening because of the, when once you have sweating. Now sweating is mediated by nerves. For first year people, I want to make it simple. Sweating is mediated by nerves. Once you have a nerve problem, will you have sweating loss or not? Will you have sweating loss or not? What is the definition for sweat? What is the name for that? Anhidrosis, isn't it? You have no sweating. So that's, can anyone of you tell me where is the symptom found? One symptom you are seeing, sir, sweating loss is seen in tuberculosis leprosy. Which place is also seen? Horner syndrome. Remember, Horner syndrome. Okay, Horner syndrome has meiosis, ptosis, and hydrosis. This is how I remember Horner syndrome. Meiosis, a constricted pupil. Ptosis, a drooping of eyelid. What is meiosis? Meiosis means pupil is small, constricted pupil in the eye. This is not Horner's. I'm not teaching Horner's. I'm just giving you a relation that there was also anhidrosis, loss of sweating. So anhidrosis is loss of sweating. And ptosis is drooping of eyelid. Eyelid is down, drooping of eyelid. I will be teaching you in ophthalmology about this in detail. Refer to my ophthalmology videos in future. So meiosis, constricted pupil. Ptosis, drooping of the eyelid. Anhidrosis, sweating loss, sweating deficits. So same, this was Horner syndrome. What? Horner's. So I remember OSIS. Everything is OSIS. This is how I remember syndromes, every bit about the syndromes. Meiosis, ptosis, anhidrosis. Meiosis, ptosis, anhidrosis. Or you can remember MAP. Meiosis, anhidrosis, ptosis. But I don't remember like that. I remember, since I have learned it like that, meiosis, ptosis, anhidrosis. This is for Horner syndrome. Now going to this Hansen's disease, tuberculosis, leprosy, you have a sensory loss. You have a sweating loss. You have hypopigmentation. But this hypopigmentation is not strictly, I'm telling again, it's not always there will be hypopigmentation. Let me write second was sweating deficit. So sweating loss is there. And third is hypopigmentation. Hypopigmentation. So hypopigmentation can be sometimes erythematous. Can be sometimes erythematous. Okay. So the skin, that is the dermatome distribution. What is dermatome? That part of the skin which is supplied by that nerve. So a nerve is supplying a specific part of a skin, that becomes a dermatome. So this dermatome will have a specific. So if this nerve is involved, you will have a dermatome. No, it will give you that solitary area. It will give you that solitary area. The lesion will be present at the solitary area. Sir, what is the characteristic of tuberculoid leprosy lesion? Tuberculoid leprosy lesion, if I say dermatologically, they are plaques. They are plaques. Okay. They have elevated borders. They have elevated borders. Let me say like this. The lesion in TT is a lesion that is plaque, well defined. And what else I can say? Hypopigmented is also, I mentioned it earlier, hypopigmented. And the border is elevated. The border is elevated border. But now the lesion is like this. Let me draw the lesion like this. It's like this. I am taking that lesion as big. Don't think it. No, I am magnifying that lesion. Okay. So what is this, sir? What is the shape? Can you see the center is very much flat? The center of the lesion is very much flat. Okay. And the borders are elevated. The borders are elevated. The borders are elevated. The center is flat. Elevated border, flat center. And sloping. Can you see the slope? Yes, sir, sloping. This concept, please write with a red pen. This concept is called a saucer right up. I hope you understand saucer right up. Okay, right side up. A saucer right side up. A saucer right side up. Isn't it a saucer right side up? Guys. Okay. Now I am telling you, I told you in the yesterday's discussion, if I anytime in this world, anywhere I ask you that I have a well and a nice demarcated borders, I have a well-defined borders, what does it mean in leprosy? If I have a border, what does it mean? Universally, what does it mean? No, it means I have a nice immunity, because borders will be nicely defined in TT type. LL will have not that much ill-defined borders. LL has poorly defined borders. I yesterday taught you, that's the concept you have to apply. Yes, very nice. So I'm not asking, I'm asking right now about the borders. So you have that ill-defined borders in LL. Okay. You know how I remember, by the way, okay, if you get confused sometimes, how I remember. Now tell me, this is tea. Tea is served in what? Tea is served in a cup, isn't it? And you have a saucer. So TT has saucer lesion. TT has saucer lesion. Is it okay? Is it okay? TT has saucer lesion. Okay. Now easy. So this is what you have to remember. Okay. Let us show you that image. Yesterday I had an image for you. Where is that image? Image is not there. Okay, let me say like this. Where is that image? Yeah. See, friends, can you see this person? It's a very nice example. Let me show you this. Takes so time to reach London, isn't it? So much time to reach London. Okay, we are moving towards London. Okay. So much time. Okay, we have reached London. Okay, see. um, this place, can you appreciate this? What is this? What is this, guys? Is it a jugular vein distension? Is it a jugular vein distension? Is it a high JVP? Is it a high JVP? Wow, what a beautiful answer. What a beautiful wrong answer people are saying. My dear, how can this be a jugular vein? This is a greater auricular nerve. This is a greater auricular nerve supplying the air, external air, greater auricular nerve. Greater auricular nerve. No, dear, it's not ulna. It's not ulna. Ulna is in the upper limb, my dear. Okay. Kareem, don't get so much. That's in the upper limb. Okay. Greater auricular nerve. Greater auricular nerve will get thickened. In this patient, it has been thickened. The greater auricular nerve has got thickened. Okay. And this thickened is seen in case of TT. And this person should already have a lesion on the face. This patient should already have a lesion on the face. Okay. Because it is ulna. I had yesterday told you about ulna, but this time I'm telling this is a presentation the patient has presented to us with. Okay. Okay, Kareem. So that is also true. But I am telling you, in this case, it can't be ulna. It's not upper limb. Okay. It's the neck region. This is the air and this is the neck region. So we are here visualizing the neck region. Okay. So this is what the greater auricular nerve has been thickened. That's what I had told you, that there is a nerve is having the granulomas which is compressing it. Okay, and see how much thickened it has. See the thickness of the nerve. Okay. Uh, this is what, and for skin, I don't have that characteristic hypopigmented lesion right now. Let me see if I have. Now this is on the cheeks. It can come in the indeterminate type. Uh, think like this, okay? Think like this hypopigmented was it. Think like this. A hypopigmented lesion, and this place will not have any sensory it will be sort of, a patient will be feeling like an anesthetic. He will not be having sensation at this point because nerve is affected. Are we able to understand? Okay. So this is what, this is a satellite lesion. Let me show you this image. Let us show it here only. So see guys, this is a satellite lesion. This is a satellite lesion. Satellite lesions are seen in borderline BT, borderline tuberculoid leprosy. Okay. So they are around 3 to 10. Okay. And also in BT, you can see some nerve thickenings. Nerve thickenings can also be present. So BT is pretty much similar to TT, but lesions will be more. Lesions will be more. Okay. Okay. Understood? This is simple thing I am telling you at this first year level. Okay. You have to remember. Then was what? BB, isn't it? BB. BB is borderline Hansen. BB is borderline Hansen, or mid borderline. Okay. Now what will happen in BB is you will have numerous lesions. You will have numerous lesions. What is numerous? That means you can count them. Remember, numerous lesions, that is you can count. At least, I think around 10 to 30 lesions. Around 10 to 30 lesions. And plus nerves will be also thickened. Nerves thickened. Now, what will happen is these lesions, why it's called mid borderline? Because these lesions will start crossing the midline. They will start crossing the midline. Okay. So I told you last time that it shares both the features of TT and LL. It shares both the features of TT and LLs. Hence, we see two borders, a beautiful concept. If you remember my words yesterday, today it's going to be easy. I told you yesterday we have two. Let me charge this. Just a second. Let me charge this. Okay. So I told you yesterday that we have BB is in between. It's borderline. That means it's between TT and LL, isn't it? Guys, isn't it? Please answer me. Yes. So if it is between TT and LL, if it is between TT and LL, that means it should share the features of both TT and LL. That means it's in the borderline. And that means, how we remember is, we have two borders. We can appreciate two borders with our eyes crossly, like this. Let me make like this. Two borders. One is an out. We're talking about a lesion. Please remember, we're talking about the lesion. So inner border is well defined. Inner border well defined. Inner border well defined. Same looking like TT. So TT type of a nature inside. Outer border not so much well defined. Outer border ill defined. This is just a depiction here. Don't think, sir, you have done this. Okay, just letting you understand the lesion. So it is outer border ill defined. Outer border ill defined. same is equal to LL. LL was also not having those. So what do we call this? We call it inverted saucer sign. Inverted saucer sign. Inverted saucer sign. I will tell you more names. Okay, let me write many names for this. Let us tell you here only. It is called inverted saucer sign. I will tell you what it is. Inverted saucer sign. Please write first. Inverted saucer sign. Don't write sign actually. It's inverted saucer like this. Or it's also called Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese. Or punched out. Punched out, do you know? Like this is a paper punched out. Okay, understood? Punched out. Or now tell me, are they showing two features or not? Are they showing two features? Guys, are they showing two features? Are they showing two natures? So can I say it's a dimorphic lesion? It's a dimorphic lesion. Or it is circular. See how many names I'm telling you. He can ask you with these names. I'm telling you every name here. See, it's circular. So can I write this annular? Annular lesion. Can I say it's annular? It's annular. Okay. Now, what is this punched area telling me? This punched area is telling me that it's a normal skin. This area, let me make it like this area. This area is telling us that it's a normal skin. It's a normal skin. This area is a normal skin. So punched area is telling me normal skin. The center is normal. And why it's called punched? It is said that as if the leprosy has been removed from this place. That's in that sense they have named it. Are we able to understand? As if you have punched out leprosy from this part of the skin. That's why we say it's a normal and punched lesion. Can we understand, guys? Punched lesion. Is it clear? Is it clear? As if the leprosy has been removed from this region. That's why they call it a punched lesion. We are not getting the reply from everyone. It's okay. It's your choice to reply. So outer border, ill-defined. Inner border, well-defined. Center area, normal. Why? As if leprosy has been removed from this part. Okay. As the patient starts going from TT to LL, granuloma size will decrease. Granuloma size will decrease. More foam cells will form. I told you why. Because of the lepra reaction. Lepra 2. Type 2 lepra reaction. Isn't it, guys? Guys, isn't it? Lepra 2 reaction. Type 2 lepra reaction. That's what you have to remember. And do you think that if you have less granuloma, see, I'm giving you logical, we are thinking logically. So do you think that once you have less granuloma, we have gone into medicine part also, I think, because it's so interesting to understand things. Do you think that if there is granuloma is not there, do you think that the compression on the nerves will also decrease? Don't you think that the compression on the nerves will decrease? Don't you think that the patient will start getting sensations? Patient will start getting normalization of the sensations. His sensations will improve. See, it's everything is logical. Don't you think his sweating will improve? Don't you think his anhidrosis will improve? So that you have to remember. So once a patient is going from TT to LL, his granulomas decrease, more foam cells are formed, and his compression on the nerve reduces, sensations improve, sweating improves. So sweating improves, sensation improves. Decrease the granuloma, increase the sensations. Decrease the granuloma, increase the sweating. Means normalize the sweating, not increase actually. Okay. Increase the foam cells, increase the sensational, sensational regain. I will understand. Still called unstable form. Borderline still called unstable form because yesterday I told you. Okay. Okay, friends. Is there any doubt? So let us show you the lesions, what I was showing you right now. That was the borderline lesion. Where is that? Yeah, this is the lesion. Okay, this is the lesion. So this is a borderline lesion. Okay, so can you see that this area is punched out? Do you think that this area has been punched out? The outer area is ill-defined. Can you see the ill-defined area? Let us increase the brightness for you. Can we see the area is ill-defined? See, we taught you everything. We are telling the same thing again and again. Do you think that the puncture, this is the normal skin? See the consistency of this region and this region. This is how I appreciate dermatology. The most sought after specialty, dermatology, in these days, because less work and lucrative. What is lucrative? You can understand. It's lucrative also, and more people going into it. Okay, so this is the area is called as punched out. Okay, can you see annular regions here clearly? Annular. Can we see the annular regions? Can we see the punched out center again? Can we see the punched out center again? Can we see many annular regions here? See annular, 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 some annular lesions. Okay, I can see. So there are so many annular lesions. So this is a characteristic of BB. Let us go to the borderline lapromatous BL. What a beautiful concept. If you understand, then conceptually you can learn the disease. So BL is borderline lapromatous. Borderline lapromatous means small lesions, but not able to count. Very small lesions, but not able to count. Same like, this was also behaving like this when I was searching. See, annular lesions. I was thinking where I can find. So that was also having multiple lesions, but comes still under the countable. But here in the borderline, you are not able to BL. Actually, in the BL, you are not able to count, uncountable. Okay. So what will happen? They will try to cross the midline. And that means at one time, do you think if they are crossing the midline, so do you think that you will have lesions on both sides of the body? If they are crossing the midline, don't you think it will become symmetrical at some point? Symmetrical means on both sides of the body. Guys, okay? So symmetrical, they will become symmetrical someday, isn't it? So they will become not actually symmetrical. They will become what? Completely symmetrical. Completely symmetrical they will become. But if you tell me, sir, when they will become 100% symmetrical, that will only be in the lapromatous leprosy. So in borderline leprosy, you are seeing that the lesions are crossing the midline. Let if I have an image, the lesions are crossing the midline. Okay. So lesions are crossing the midline, and what you will be appreciating, more amount of annular lesions here. But think that there are so many on the bilateral distribution is there. There's a bilateral symmetrical distribution. And don't you think that his sensations will become normal because we are moving more towards the borderline BL? We are more moving towards the LL. Don't you think his sensations will improve? Don't you think his sweating will improve? Yes, his sweating will improve because compression of the nerve is not there and more forms are there, less granular formation is there. So what type of lesion do we see? We see inverted saucer, same inverted saucer, Swiss cheese, dimorphic, punched out lesion. Dimorphic, punched out lesion. Can we see? Yeah, can see. Dimorphic, punched out lesion. So what lesions do you remember has inverted saucer lesion? BBBL. BBBL. Okay. Let us go to LL. LL. So guys, in LL, what is happening is in LL, that is the Laprometus leprosy. Laprometus leprosy. You have foam cells. These foam cells are called lepra cells. These foam cells are called lepra cells. Once you take, this is a tissue, and you take a biopsy from this tissue, you will be appreciating what? These foam cells. You will be appreciating these foam cells. Now a question will be asked, what cytokines are dominating this LL? What cytokines in the blood? What cytokines? Okay, what chemical message? What cell messengers are involved in this? So you should remember interleukin 4, interleukin 10, interleukin 4, interleukin 10. Okay, so how will you appreciate a Laprometus leprosy? In Laprometus leprosy, you will see first number ill-defined borders. Ill-defined borders, because I told you weak immunity, poor immunity. There's why that you are seeing that spread of bacilli. You'll be appreciating that spread of bacilli. You'll be appreciating that spread of bacilli. Nodules. There will be nodules. There will be skin fold prominence. Skin folds? Skin fold prominence. This skin fold prominence is called leonine facies. What is leonine? Line like, okay? Leonine. Leonine leprosy or leonine facies. Leonine. Now, if you are seeing thickening of the skin folds, you normally have a skin folds. Let me show you. They have leonine facies. Where is the photograph? Leonine facies. Can you see the nasal bridge has also been destroyed? Okay. I don't want to mark on this. So this is what you can see. Okay. Are you able to see? So will there be any granuloma? Will there be any granuloma? No, sir, no granuloma. Will there be any nerve compression? No, sir, no compression. Will there be normal sweating? Yes, sir, normal sweating. Will there be normal sensation? Yes, sir, normal sensation. Okay. But, initially in the phase of LL, I want to tell you here, it's not now a strict thing that, sir, this will happen. But if this disease is progressing at a slow pace, if the disease is progressing at a slow pace, very slowly, it will at some point of time reach the nerves. It will at some, I'm talking about LL. It will at some point of the time reach the nerves. And there it will cause peripheral neuropathy. Peripheral neuropathy. And there will be a, now if nerve is involved, that means you will have loss of sensation. That means you will have, there is a characteristic thing seen. If this is happening in LL, that is called glow and stalking. Glow and stalking deform anesthesia, sorry. Glow and stalking anesthesia. Now, how would you know that a person is going towards LL? How would you know a person is going towards LL? You have to, the earliest thing which you will appreciate in LL is nasal stuffiness. Nasal stuffiness and bleeding from the nose, that is epistaxis. Epistaxis is bleeding from the nose. And if this patient is not treated at this point, his nasal discharge can spread the infection. A community leprosy will occur. So this will cause, what other things can you appreciate? You can see air lobes will be infiltrated. Where is air lobe? I don't have an image here. Air lobes will also be infiltrated. Air lobes, okay? So air lobes will also be affected. Air lobes will also be affected. There will be, what you will appreciate in the air lobes, by the way? You will have a pedunculus, pedunculus earlobe, pedunculus. Okay, there will be a pedunculus, not pedunculus, actually pendulous. Sorry, pendulous earlobe. This air lobule, this pendulum-like air lobule is called Buddha ears. Is called Buddha ears. And there can be also gynecomastia. Yeah, very good. This is the image which the student has sent, yeah, in the group. So gynecomastia will be also there. Why? Because her testicles will be involved. And do you see the saddle nose? Can you appreciate such saddle nose? Can you appreciate saddle nose, guys, in this diagram we had? Can you see the saddle nose, the depressed nasal septum? Nasal septum. So we will say saddle nose. Saddle nose is there. Okay, saddle nose. What else you will appreciate, sir? What else? Saddle nose and there will be sometimes, it will proceed towards nasal septa perforation. The nasal septa, this nasal septa, the bridge, this septa will get perforated. Okay, nasal septa will get perforated. Okay, so this is the concept you have to remember. Now what I remember is, if you want, I can give you a mnemonic by which I can learn everything about this. That's a common sense a person can derive from this mnemonic. What is happening in the LL? Okay, so see, in the LL part, you have to remember like this, like I remember. If you tell me, sir, what is found in LL, I will say L for leonine facies, L for lepra cell, L for loss of nasal bridge, L for loss of peripheral sensation, L for lobe, that is ear lobe is involved, L for lots, means called what? Multibacillary. It's a multibacillary. So let me write for you. So LL has many L's. L is leonine facies. L is lepra cells. L is lobe, that is ear lobe is involved. L is loss of nasal bridge. L is lots of means lots of bacilli. Multibacillary. I have taught you now as a medicine. No, medicine I have integrated it. Okay, I have related this with medicine and dermatology. Okay, friends, so that you can very well integrate in an integrated approach, understand this. Okay. Let me write some one-liners for you. You may come across some terms. Let me give you one definitions. Sometimes you come across with histoid leprosy. What is histoid leprosy? What is histoid leprosy? Yes, second year people. Anyone? Third year people. What is histoid leprosy? Who can tell me? There is two things in the world. Yes, sir. No, sir. So that we don't waste time. Okay. So histoid leprosy is seen when a Lepromedes leprosy is resistant to Dapsone. I'll be telling you the drugs given. Dapsone, resistant to Dapsone. And it happened once we were giving these patients, the Lepromedes leprosy patients, only one drug, that is monotherapy. If you were giving monotherapy, that is Dapsone, then they developed what? Some papules. They had some papules. Okay, shiny papules. Second is Lucio leprosy. What is Lucio leprosy? What is Lucio leprosy? Yeah. What is Lucio leprosy? Lucio leprosy means non-nodular Lepromedes leprosy. Lepromedes leprosy, LL, non-nodular LL. Okay. You know why is it called Lucio leprosy? It is called basically lepra bonita. What? Lepra bonita. Lepra bonita means pretty leprosy. Pretty leprosy. Because the person develops what? Shiny face, a younger face. Okay, but it's a disease. The wrinkling is gone. Okay, guys. Okay. Is there any doubt? Okay. Um, Basically, you may be seeing, I told you that there is nerve involvement in leprosy, isn't it? Approximately 100% patients with leprosy will show you a nerve involvement. Okay. And I told you that TT persons will have more compression of the nerve and more loss of, nerve function. But there won't be any glow stalking deformity, glow stalking anesthesia, glow stalking anesthesia. Um, what else I want to say? But if you go towards the LL side will show you a progressive invasion of the peripheral nerves leading to peripheral neuropathy, and that was giving us a glow stalking anesthesia. Okay. Now, if there is a concept that is called, let me write with a red pen. There is a concept called pure, excuse me, pure neural Hansen. Pure neural Hansen. Pure neural Hansen means if a Hansen's disease patient is coming to you with only nerve involvement, if a Hansen's disease patient is coming to you with only peripheral nerve involvement and no skin is not involved, you will say it's a pure neural Hansen. Now, what things will the person lose? What you said, sir, there is sensory loss. So in what is the order that you will be having? What he will get lost first? What sensory order? He won't be able to first differentiate between hot and cold. This is gone first. First, he won't be able to differentiate between hot and cold. Then what will happen? Cold is gone. Okay. Hot is gone. I'm telling you the sequence. Hot is gone. Then what is gone? Light touch is gone. Light touch is gone. What is gone then? Pain is gone. What is gone then? Deep touch is gone. Most important concept. Okay. Now it's not only that you will be having skin and everything involvement. There can be also eye involvement. Cranial nerve 7 can involve. If you have cranial nerve 7 involvement, what will be the characteristics? Yes, who can tell me? If you have a seventh nerve involvement, facial nerve, what will be the presentation of the patient? If a patient has cranial nerve 7 involved, what will we have? He will have iridocyclitis. Iridocyclitis. Guys, you should remember the pathophysiology. On the basis of pathophysiology, it's not always Bell's palsy. Don't take every time that seventh and Bell's palsy. Guys, you have to understand the pathophysiology. Once I utter something, you start speaking everything about it. You have to understand the disease, how it is happening. Like I told you, tuberculosis will cause this. So there's a reason. Otherwise, I could have told you stock glow anesthesia is from the very beginning. So that's why I'm telling you, read the pathology very nicely. Then you can understand these things. So for the first year people, I would want them to write cranial nerve 7 involvement is iridocyclitis. That is inflammation of, yeah. What is iridocyclitis? What is iridocyclitis, guys? Let us write in capital iridocyclitis. Yeah, iris is involved. Very good. And what else? Okay. Okay, someone from second year, please tell me what is iridocyclitis without using Google. Without Google. Don't use Google or any browsing engine. We want book. We want a crystal clear idea. Iridocyclitis means when you have ciliary body involvement. Ciliary body. No, do you know the? I hope you understand the eye. This is the eye. If I make it the lateral view, and these are my ciliary processes, and this is the lens. Okay, so this is the suspensory ligament. This is the this is the side, the pupil. So what you see is if I have inflammation of, see, I'm going to highlight, if I have inflammation of iris is my eye which is giving me the color, okay, that I can't show here. So if I have iris involvement and also ciliary body involvement, so that is called iridocyclitis. These all are inflamed. What else will I have? I will have exposure keratitis. I will have exposure keratitis. I will have lag ophthalmos. What is lag ophthalmos? Guys? Lag ophthalmos means I am having a lid closure disorder. Okay, there is a big definition for this. I don't want to go here in first year. So remember like this, simple words. So we are having a lag in the closure of the lid. Okay, lag ophthalmos, and we can have corneal erosions in this patient. There was a question in the ophthalmology sometimes back. I have seen, I don't remember, was it asked in a national exam? They said in BL and LL you will see what? Or they asked retrospectively like this, you see iris pearls. What is iris pearls? Iris pearls is microgranuloma deposits. This happens in leprosy. So iris pearls. Okay, I don't want to go into more detail, but I want to tell you that there can be renal involvement also, which causes mesenteroproliferative glomerulonephritis, membrane proliferative glomerulonephritis. If there can be involvement of lungs, there can be involvement of prostate, there can be involvement of breasts. Wrong answer. That's where you get confused. CNS not involved. Female reproductive tract not involved. Breasts not involved. Prostate not involved. Lungs not involved in leprosy. If you talk about system-wise approach, not involved. Are we able to understand, guys? Don't make a wrong mistake in exam. Don't do a mistake that, sir, it is involved, not involved. Okay, but still, if they ask you that which of the following is not involved, you will choose uterus. What? Uterus. Okay. Okay, friends. So I hope you have understood. We have to take it more further on. I think that we will be continuing tomorrow. I'll be teaching you the treatment and giving you a conclusive some format of how to remember them. Okay. So tomorrow we take another session, small session, and complete this leprosy. But remember, we have tried to integrate things. Okay. I have tried to integrate microbiology, medicine, and dermatology. And I will teach you also the diagnosis. Okay. So thank you very much. I hope you have enjoyed the session. Subscribe to this channel for more upcoming videos, and have a nice day. God bless you.